What up, cuts? It's your boy, the hater, up in this piece. And before we get to today's topic up in this motherfucker, I just want to say two things. Number one, the hater's assistant has relayed to the hater that people have sent evidence that someone wants to dox me. Until this person comes after me personally, until this person says, hey, you, etc., on one of my comments or does a video or something that I can corroborate, I'm going to have to ignore it because who the hell knows? It could be a troll. I don't want to go after people for no reason. You know, I don't know who Gooby is, and quite frankly, I don't give a rat's ass, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this. If anyone thinks that doxing me is going to affect anything, think again, motherfuckers. You don't know who you're dealing with. I don't hide my name and face to protect my job. The hater works for himself. I do it for other reasons. And these are reasons that nobody should want to find out. Nothing too bad, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not one to be fucked with, right? That's why when those two dorks, Technical Work Rate Productions, came after me that one time, I went off on them. And the premise of that rant is the same premise as the rant will be with anybody else, right? I am cut from a different cloth, believe me, all right? This is not the way that I handle things. I don't handle things. As a matter of fact, some jabron tried to hashtag me and mention me in some YouTube thing. I forget his name because I can't see it anymore, but he's a dork too. And he was like, man, he's like, these YouTubers think that it's all, leave it on YouTube, bro. I'm not one of those YouTubers. Believe me, motherfuckers. I am someone that you don't want to come after me. It's a short story, right? I could tell you stories that would make you shudder, motherfuckers. But with that being said, let's move on. The hater doesn't like threatening people, and he never would. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I do it for entertainment, but don't come after me. Nobody wants that heat. Believe me. Anyways, motherfuckers, I wanted to talk about something that has nothing to do with wrestling, and that is the cocaine that was found in the White House. That's right. For those of you that are living under a rock, an indiscriminate amount of cocaine, right? So they tell us, has been found in the White House. All I read was there was a bag of cocaine. Bag is a very vague term. It could be a little baggie with a few grams, or it could be several dozen kilograms. I mean, it's not going to be several dozen kilograms, obviously, but it could be, I don't know, half a key. Who the fuck knows, right? What I do know is this. If they found coke, and the hater does not mess with drugs, never has, but if they found coke in the hater's home, or in your home, or in anybody else's home, we will be looking at prison, motherfuckers. We will be looking at prison. But they find it in the White House, and the White House flagrantly straight up says, oh, we don't expect to find out who did this. Word? You don't expect to find out who did this? Because if someone gets pulled over for a DUI, the cops show up there, the breathalyzer technician shows up there, everyone shows up there to fuck that person. As a matter of fact, your boy recently got a $250 ticket, believe you me, right? Because apparently I didn't stop at a stop sign. You know those school bus stop signs? I didn't see it. He was on the other fucking side of the road. And I saw the notice that I got, and it said, if you don't pay it, you can argue it in court, right? But if you do, we might penalize you $500. Now, the hater didn't think it was worth his time to go to the district court and complain to the judge, right? Furthermore, they had video evidence of me doing this, and I hold myself accountable for everything that I do. But it pissed me off, right? Because the system set up a trap, right? Now, if, let's say it was Hunter Biden or Joe Biden or an intern or whoever, it doesn't really matter who put the coke there, right? The idea is that because it's the White House, because it's important people more important than you and I for some fucking reason, the rules just don't apply to these cocksuckers. And that's what pisses me off. I mean, I've always known that. That's nothing new, right? The king does what the king wants. The president does what the president wants. The White House does what the White House wants. However, what pisses me off is the laissez-faire attitude that all of us have with this, right? We just accept this as normal, right? Now the hater's not going to go out there and protest in front of the White House because ain't nobody got time for that. But that's the problem. Someone should be protesting. Someone that does have time, perhaps a lobbyist group or any kind of interest group, should go out there and say, wait a fucking second, motherfucks. You know, let's have some parity here, right? We have Trump, he holds some documents, they raid his house. I'm not saying raid the White House. I understand the optics of that are different. But the idea should have been this. Stop everything you're doing, and the primary objective, the priority of the White House should have been to find out who had this cocaine and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. I don't give a damn if it's Joe Biden, if it's Jill Biden, if it's Hunter Biden, if it's Jimmy Jack Biden. I don't give a damn who it is. It doesn't matter. It could be an intern, it could be the janitor, right? But the way that this has been set up is that Oh, it could have been anybody. Word? Couldn't have been anybody? Let me ask you this, motherfuckers. If you're a janitor and you work at the White House, let's just say you're a janitor, right? You've had to go through several rounds of clearance and you probably are a damn good janitor and this job probably pays very well compared to other janitorial jobs. Why in the blue hell would you risk bringing cocaine to the White House? That's a federal offense, cuts. Now imagine if you're, I don't know, someone close to Joe Biden. Let's put it that way, right? You might act with impunity because nothing fucking ever happens to you, right? You do whatever the fuck you want, and your life is a series of doing whatever the fuck you want and getting away with it, while the rest of us slave away and suffer. Now, that's an exaggeration. I'm neither slaving away nor suffering, motherfuckers, but you get my point, right? The way that this has been handled is indicative of a broken system. Now, I'm not here to fix systems, but I am here to tell you, motherfuckers, there is no way around this, right? One of the haters' very good friends often tells the hater, it's important to have money, right? The hater and all of his friends are trying to be millionaires one day, right? We want to have a lot of money, so basically, our kids one day can get away with shit if need be, right? Because you have to play this game. There's no other way around it, right? If the hater had the opportunity and the capacity to change the law, or if the hater could be president if he wasn't a goddamn immigrant, you know what I'm saying? If I could be president, or if something like that were to happen, right, and I were to run this country, you best believe that my priority would be to fix the system. But we cannot. We as individuals, and even a small collective, can do basically nothing to fix the system, right? The system is too far gone, right? The people can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, let me put it to you this way. Let me give you another example, because this is a very political example. Look at Will Smith, right? Will Smith. Let me tell you something. Will Smith, I know it's been like a minute now, but Will Smith goes and slaps Chris Rock in the fucking face in front of everybody. Now, I'm a big fan of Chris Rock, and I was a big fan of Will Smith until around, 2005 maybe, right? So I like both of these guys. But what Will Smith did is called battery, motherfucks, or assault too, depending on what state you're in. Now, people might say, oh, Chris Rock didn't want to press charges. Who gives a shit? He committed a crime on live television, right? If you or I did that shit, imagine going in front of a cop, right, and punching someone else in the face, or slapping someone in the face. You would get arrested immediately, motherfucks. You'd get arrested immediately. Now, people might escape arrest, but he was in a contained environment. There's probably police all over the place, right, protecting these elite Hollywood fuckers, right? And he just committed a crime on national TV. The cops can press charges. They can't. They can arrest him. But the prosecutor can press charges, and the prosecutor should have. What kind of a message are we sending that Will Smith can literally go and slap a grown man, a famous grown man at that, in the face on national TV, right? And then that cuckold Will Smith, if I could, I would slap Will Smith in the face. He comes out on TV and he's like, oh, we were all hurt by this. Shut the fuck up, pussy. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of these people. Everyone's hurt and everyone's upset. And the rest of us who are working hard to finance a war in Ukraine and finance a war in Israel and finance this and finance that and finance everything else, all of us are getting rammed, right? And I get it. That is the way of the world. Just like Karl Marx said, motherfuckers, the proletariat gets rammed. And I get that. I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. However, the system is broken if there's no accountability, right? With capitalism and democracy comes this assumption and presumption that we're all to be treated equally. And if we're not going to be treated equally, then we're all fucked, motherfuckers. Because then someone, like whoever put the coke there, or Will Smith, can just come, they can literally piss on our faces. And if we did 1/10 of that shit, I know people whose lives have been ruined for a simple assault. Their lives, they are still recovering 20 years later from the consequences of those assaults. No priors, no nothing, right? They just happen to have no acting talent, and therefore they weren't Will Smith. You understand what I'm saying? People's lives are ruined on a daily basis. Like, most of us, I'm sure, know some people whose lives have been fucked by drugs. Some of us might be unfortunate enough to know people whose lives have been fucked by drug sentencing, right? I personally think that drugs are mostly for losers. I don't really like that, but that's me, right? If you want to do drugs and it's legal, be my guest. If it's illegal, however, right, maybe you can argue it shouldn't be illegal, but you don't bring drugs to the White House. And then the White House just flagrantly says, they just say openly, they're like, oh, we don't think we're going to find out who did it. Yeah, no shit, motherfuckers, because you're not looking for who did it. Or you know who did it, and you just can't go after him, right? This person has a form of immunity that goes beyond the law, that goes beyond human decency, motherfuckers. anyone that operates in this kind of life, may God have mercy on their souls. Because that, to me, is the worst sin. It's worse than rape. It's worse than murder. It's the worst thing that you could possibly do, is to advantage yourself in such a way where you have carte blanche to do whatever the fuck you want. And with that being said, motherfucks, suck my balls. You understand me?